watching the station covering all of the DMV. This is DC News Now.
Hi, everyone. Thank you so much for joining us on DC News Now at 9. I'm Susan Tran.
Hi, everybody. I'm Chris Flanagan. Well, Delta Airlines is struggling to recover tonight after canceled and delayed flights from a global technology outage. Check out the airport here. This is in Atlanta, Georgia. You can see here jam-packed people waiting in the terminal there.
And over in Denver, look at the baggage claim area. Just all of those bags going around in circles. They are checked bags from passengers who were supposed to fly over the weekend, but their Delta flights were canceled or delayed. And you're getting a look at Reagan National Airport. We did see it earlier when travelers were facing the same type of story. And these are travelers first told that their flights were canceled or delayed, and now they're just trying to find their stuff there at DCA's baggage claim.
Can't imagine the frustration there, right? All right, DC News Now, Max Marcilla joining us live from Reagan National. And Max, certainly a long day has now turned into a long night for so many passengers.
Well, Chris and Susan, you mentioned it. There are some frustrations. What you're seeing here beyond the bags is also a lot of help. There have been a lot of Delta workers trying to help people find their bags, a tall task, one that has admittedly caused some frustration, but one that is important, especially as everyone tries to recover from the impact of the outages. Rows and rows of bags waiting for a reunion with their owners at DCA.
The flight was canceled and I had to book a hotel like that same day.
Jordan Montgomery's bag made it from Austin to Arlington before she did because her connecting flight from Raleigh was canceled.
I've got 2 out of 3, and according to Meatloaf, that's pretty good, so.
And that last bag, always the hardest to find and the latest hurdle for this Alexandrian's family journey.
My boyfriend and his son and his extended family, their flight was canceled last night from Minneapolis. They couldn't get a flight out for probably another 2 days. All the trains, buses, everything was booked up, so they are now driving from Minneapolis, and their luggage just arrived today.
All of these bags, the result of days of chaos.
It's crazy. I've never seen anything like this before.
Piles of suitcases left sitting because of Delta's challenges during and after the worldwide IT outages. Nationwide, more than 1,000 Delta flights canceled each day from Friday to Monday and another 450 plus on Tuesday, according to FlightAware.
Can I help you?
Help has been plentiful as airport and airline workers help frantic flyers find their belongings.
Is there a chance it could still be at the other place, like in Minneapolis?
Wherever they may be. But right now, many of them right here at Reagan National, and they have been for a while. Now, we've been here for the last few hours, and what we want to show you are 2 things. The first is what you can see over there, a couple of workers, as we told you. People we spoke with said they've been generally very helpful, organizing the bags and trying to make sure everyone knows where they are. The other thing we want to show you is over there. You can see there's essentially no line over at the baggage service counter for Delta. That's something we have seen less of a line throughout the day. It was longer earlier. They are handling people, getting them their bags one at a time. A lot of progress still to be made, as you can see, but definitely some improvements over the last few hours. Reporting live at DCA, Max Marcilla, DC News Now.
Congressional leaders are calling on CrowdStrike's CEO to testify. The cybersecurity company put out that software update that crashed computer systems all around the world. Now, that outage, it started Friday morning. It created chaos in every corner of our lives. Who can forget that? We're talking airlines, banks, hospitals, government agencies, even vending machines.
All right, let's take a live look outside. This is Roslyn, Virginia here on this Tuesday evening. Some areas in the DMV under a flood watch right now. A flood watch is in place. So the latest on the forecast now, let's check in with Chief Meteorologist Janessa Webb.
Hey, yeah, we are seeing some moisture that is enhanced the farther south that you go of the DMV. Right now, we're seeing a little bit of a wind flow picking up for the metro area, but all in all, it has been fairly on the quiet side. This flood watch is going to remain in place until 11 o'clock tonight for D.C. surrounding counties. This does extend down towards Fredericksburg, Culpeper area as well, and so we'll continue to watch that for the next few hours. You're noticing a little bit of more moisture that that's on the enhanced side from Orange into Fredericksburg, Culpeper at this time, Northern Virginia, and it's steadily picking up. So you can see kind of the forward movement of that moisture, eventually going to make its way into areas of DC metro area. But at this time, it is really definitely taking its time from Orange into Sneal, Spotsylvania area. Really, satellite composite radar picking up more of the cloud coverage across the region. And so that's what we'll sit under as we go into your overnight hours. At this point, it's Delaware. That's kind of the highlighted zone. And so we'll continue to watch them. It is very muggy out there with temperatures into the lower 80s, dew points into the 70s. And so we'll watch hour by hour, not dropping too much back into the middle 70s. It's rinse. It's a repeat cycle as we go into tomorrow with more storm chances. I have that forecast coming up.
A live look now at the White House, where President Biden will speak to the country tomorrow night at 8. This is about his decision to drop out of his re-election campaign. Now, in a post on X, Biden saying that he's going to talk about what's ahead, as well as how he's going to finish out his presidency. The president is back at the White House now. He's been isolating in Delaware from COVID, and his doctor, says that Biden is now tested negative, and he is no longer having any symptoms.
All new tonight, a D.C. agency is laying out its transportation plans ahead of the new school year. Now, this comes as the district faces legal action.
In fact, there are parents who are accusing D.C. of failing to provide safe and reliable transportation for so many students with disabilities.
Yeah, that's right. Reporter Marielle Carbone has been following the story for us. And Marielle, they say these busing blunders have been going on for 2 years now.
Yeah, Chris, and we are talking about canceled, no-show, delayed buses picking up our most vulnerable students here in the city. Now, this new plan discussed in court today does show that more funding and resources are going to the system. And while one parent I spoke to tells me she's trying to be hopeful, she admits it's difficult.
I want my son to be able to get to school on time and be able to participate in all the educational opportunities.
But Elizabeth Daggett says even after filing a lawsuit against D.C.'s Office of the State Superintendent of Education in March, it's still not happening.
The bus is still coming late. We're not getting notification.
Tuesday, OSSI explained how it plans to improve the busing system, laying out its transportation plans for the 2024-25 school year in a D.C. courtroom.
They've put a lot of money, new money into it and some new staffing into it.
The 11-page report explains the summer timeline, starting in June with OSSI accepting transportation requests for the next year and contacting parents. In July, OSSI creating new school bus routes, and in August it'll test them with bus drivers doing a dry run. The agency is also dedicating $1 million to its parent stipend program and dedicating up to $17 million to expand private contractor routes.
I think our clients are hopeful that we'll see some changes, but I think everybody's feeling a little bit nervous.
I'll believe it when I see it.
Daggett isn't convinced things will be any better.
We were told a couple of weeks ago that his transportation in the fall was in danger due to the fact that proper forms hadn't been submitted. I got a text later that said, oh, just kidding, like we already had it. It makes it more frustrating for us and continues to increase the anxiety.
And Chris and Susan, OSSI will be back in court after the first week of school for D.C. students. And then at that point, they'll be discussing how the first week of transportation went. And then moving on from there, the judge will decide how this lawsuit progresses, depending on how well they perform at the start of the school year. Reporting live in Northwest tonight, I'm Marielle Carbone, D.C. News Now.
We will certainly be following that. Marielle, thanks. Meanwhile, in Virginia, a big boom shakes Arlington this afternoon. Fire crews say it's likely because of an underground electrical fire on Crystal Drive. So if you look closely next to the building there, you can see the thick, dark smoke shooting up from grates and manholes. Firefighters were lowered by ropes and hit the power source with fire extinguishing powder. The boom is leaving a lasting impact for those who heard it.
Explosion happened next door to us, and as the explosion happened, all our screens went out, and the power went out, and everything went out, and it was kind of like a shock, a really big shock, and then everything happened so fast, so everybody evacuated.
Well, Dominion Energy crews are working now to make sure everything is okay. Right now, it's not clear what caused that fire.
Developing now, the NYPD in D.C. to help back up officers during a busy week of events. Israel's Prime Minister will speak on Capitol Hill tomorrow. And Capitol Police have already had quite a busy day. Take a look at this. We just learned officers arrested 200 anti-war demonstrators inside the Cannon Rotunda. They were calling on the government to stop arming Israel. Security is beefed up all across the Capitol right now. Officials just don't know how many demonstrators are expected to be showing up this week.
Special fencing that prevents people from climbing. It surrounds the Capitol complex. Capitol Police are preparing for the tens of thousands of activists rallying against Israeli Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu's visit. The size of the crowds means outside help is needed as well.
I will support and defend the Constitution.
More than 200 New York police officers sworn in today as Capitol Special Police officers to help patrol this week. Nearby, hundreds of anti-war protesters filled the Cannon House office building rotunda. They're calling on the U.S. government to stop arming Israel. The group Jewish Voice for Peace says 400 Jews, including 24 rabbis, were there. Capitol Police arrested everyone who refused to leave, saying demonstrations are not allowed inside congressional buildings. As for local businesses in the area, they're hoping for the best this week.
I hope everything is in peace and everybody's safe.
Netanyahu will address a joint session of Congress Wednesday afternoon and will meet with President Biden on Thursday.
Well, some lawmakers will not be at Netanyahu's speech tomorrow, and they include Maryland Senator Chris Van Hollen. He has been outspoken in calling for a ceasefire and says he will not be attending. Virginia Senator Tim Kaine will also not attend, though Kaine has cited a scheduling conflict.